Some fruits become famous through flavor, not presence. This is one of them. The Teaberry-shaped gum commercials, old-school soda bottles, herbal medicines, and wintergreen candy aisles long before most people even knew what the real berry looked like. Today we're breaking down the small red woodland fruit that influenced an entire century of taste. The teaberry occupies a distinct place in the botanical and cultural history of North America. Although visually modest and often overshadowed by larger and sweeter fruits, its influence has been unusually wide, particularly in the flavor industry. The word teaberry describes both the berry itself and the evergreen plant that bears it, scientifically known as Gaultheria procumbens. This plant grows predominantly in northeastern woodlands, thriving beneath pine canopies, oak forests, and acidic soil environments. While many fruits require full sunlight and rich soil, the teaberry evolved to survive in shaded cold areas where competition is relatively minimal. This ecological adaptation is one reason why it endured as a consistent wild food source long before industrial agriculture. The defining characteristic of the teaberry is its flavor compound, methyl salicylate. This naturally occurring aromatic ester produces a wintergreen-like sensation. The association between this compound and analgesic properties dates back centuries. Indigenous groups consumed the leaves as a medicinal tea to alleviate headaches, fever, inflammation, and joint pain. The berry itself contains a milder concentration, offering a sweet cool aftertaste unlike any other native fruit. When European settlers encountered this plant, the medicinal and aromatic aspects were quickly adopted. Extracts were produced by steaming the leaves and berries, condensing the aromatics into oils. Early apothecaries distributed these extracts as pain relievers and topical rubs. Throughout the 19th century, wintergreen oil became an important household commodity, sold in glass bottles as a cure-all for muscle aches and respiratory discomfort. Yet the most culturally significant turning point was not medicinal, but commercial. In the early decades of the 20th century, the flavor was transferred into beverages, confectionery, and eventually chewing gum. The creation of commercial teaberry gum became one of the defining product moments of American packaged sweets. Marketing campaigns attached the flavor to imagery of cleanliness, freshness, and youthfulness. By the 1950s and 1960s, teaberry soda was bottled in certain regions of the northeastern United States. The berry, by that time, had undergone a transformation from a wild-harvested woodland food into a brand identity. However, this boom masked a reality: very few consumers had ever eaten an actual teaberry. Their familiarity began and ended with flavoring essence. The berry itself never entered large-scale supermarket distribution for simple logistical reasons. Teaberries grow small, soft-skinned, and low in quantity. The yields per bush are modest, and the growing areas are not conducive to industrial cultivation. In other words, the berry had a flavor legacy larger than its agricultural footprint. The plant itself has a slow creeping growth style, forming mats on the forest floor. Its evergreen leaves give the landscape color during cold seasons. When winter approaches, berries often remain attached, persisting even after frost. This endurance made the fruit reliable in survival contexts, enabling seasonal access when other berries disappeared. In culinary terms, teaberries possess subtle sweetness, minimal acidity, and a lingering menthol-like aftertaste. They are not eaten in large quantities the way raspberries or strawberries are. Instead, their strengths are in infusions, baked goods, ice creams, and flavor transfer processes. When cooked down, the taste concentrates into a soft aromatic syrup reminiscent of old-fashioned candy shops and traditional herbal teas. The chemical aspect of writing the fruit story is essential. Methyl salicylate is closely related to salicylic acid, the fundamental precursor to aspirin. While natural levels in teaberries are small, they nonetheless shaped the association between the berry and medicinal benefit. Historically, there was a convergence point: the fruit flavor, the analgesic cultural mythology, and commercial branding mutually amplified one another. The decline of teaberry gum and soda in mainstream shelves occurred as flavor preferences globalized. Spearmint and peppermint replaced wintergreen as dominant mint aromas in modern confectionery due to broader consumer familiarity. Meanwhile, artificial flavoring became so accurate that the original plant was bypassed entirely. Most commercial wintergreen flavor today is synthesized without direct use of the plant. Despite this decline, teaberries are experiencing quiet rediscovery among foragers, native plant growers, homesteaders, and ecological educators. Their evergreen foliage makes them ornamental, their berries provide a harvestable reward, their historical role provides narrative weight. In a culinary era that values authenticity, origin stories, and biodiversity, teaberries carry a compelling identity. Interest is increasing in using the fruit for craft syrups, botanical beverages, small batch liqueurs, and wild forage desserts. The plant also contributes to ecological restoration projects because its ground-covering growth stabilizes forest soil and supports winter wildlife foraging. Understanding Teaberry means recognizing that significance is not always proportional to commercial produce visibility. Its influence emerges through the world of flavors, cultural nostalgia, pharmacological history, and survival-era food knowledge. It stands as a rare case where the identity of a flavor transcended the fruit's physical presence in society. The teaberry is still out there in wooded areas, still fruiting small red spheres every year whether someone harvests them or not. Its legacy remains attached to the taste memory of people who grew up with wintergreen gum and regional sodas. And for anyone who discovers the real fruit firsthand, it becomes a tangible bridge between taste, landscape, and tradition.